Hey, this week's video, we're making beef jerky. So the first thing we need to do is slice up our meat for our beef jerky. What we have here is a sirloin tip roast. And you can use any cut of meat, but you want as little fat in there as possible. So in this case, you don't want a lot of marbling. This has a little less marbling, so we're using this because it has less fat in it.
So if you put your meat in the freezer, it will firm up and it'll be easier to slice when you go to cut it.
You need to remove any thick fat or silver skin that's on there. Just remove that and throw that out. And then otherwise, you want it roughly 1/4 inch thick or less. The thicker it is, the longer it takes to dry out and the more likely it is to spoil. So for us, we have a beef steer that we get butchered and every so often. Anyway, that's how we have our meat. But for most people, you'll probably be purchasing at the store. If you do purchase your meat at the store, you can always have the butcher slice it for you to make this process faster so you don't have to slice it with a knife. And the slicer that they have at the store, they can probably get a more consistent product as well, a more consistent slice. Well, we have plenty of meat cut up here. We're getting started pretty well. So we're gonna start putting our marinade together. We're gonna marinate this a little bit. We're gonna start out with a little Worcestershire sauce. And we want basically about a 1/2 cup or so, something like that, is what I think we're gonna use for this. All right, we stepped that up to 1 cup now. I thought it was 1/2 cup. We're gonna make it 1 cup. So we want some liquid smoke in there. And that stuff, according to directions, looks like we need about 1/8 of a cup in that. 1/8 of a cup? 2 tablespoons?
Yeah, because...
Okay, 2 tablespoons be the same as 1/8 of a cup. Okay. 1 and 2.
It's math.
Just gotta get your math right, that's all. Then everything else is to taste, so whatever. A little bit of salt to taste. Whatever you think you need in there, chef. How much you think that is?
A teaspoon.
About a teaspoon. Sea salt. Garlic to taste. Probably about the same, huh? About a teaspoon?
Yeah.
Why not? Hey.
Measure it with your heart.
1/2 of a teaspoon.
1/2 teaspoon of pepper. How much? How much paprika?
About 1/2 teaspoon.
1/2 teaspoon.
Half the container.
And we just mix it up. And that'll be our marinade. Need a little more meat out of the icebox. That's freezer, for those of you who don't know. And we'll take our meat slices and we'll set them in our marinade. We like to kind of spread it out a little bit in there. Don't just throw a pile in, but peel them off of each other and put them in one at a time. That way they get the stuff all around on them and whatever. Once we get all the meat cut and put in the marinade, we're gonna put it in the refrigerator and we're gonna let it soak in there for at least 2 hours. But the longer the better, the more of the flavor will be in the meat. So 3 to 4 hours is fine, but at least 2, a minimum of 2. Then it's gonna go in the oven. How long does it go in the oven?
It's gonna go in the oven at 175 for 3 hours.
It's a good idea to open your oven every so often, like every hour or so, and just let that moisture out. And that'll let some fresh air in, some drier air. Just open it for a little bit. I don't know, 10 seconds or something. You know, it doesn't have to sit open. You don't want to let all your heat out, but you just want to let some of that moisture out and get some fresher air in there that'll be a little bit drier. Also, if you didn't notice, some of our meat pieces are on the small side, and you would cut them smaller anyways when you're all done, but if you do get it sliced at the store, you can have bigger pieces to dry, you know, wider pieces, so you can spread out easier and dry. Now, of course, you're going to cut them down when you're all done. Well, most people would cut them down to more of a bite-sized piece anyways, so for us, it's not a big deal. And in our recipe, we're not using that much salt and stuff, not that much preservatives. This is something that we're going to eat up pretty quickly. Yeah, this is something that it's not going to last real long, so we don't need to be putting it on the shelf and have it be shelf stable for a really long time. All right, well, here's our beef jerky done and ready to go. It took a little bit longer than we thought. We just turned off the oven and left it sit for a while. Pretty dry. It's really good. You want to try a piece?
Sure.
I think it turned out pretty good. Some of it is really dry and crispy. Some of it is a little chewy. There's a whole range here of texture. It's a little bit less consistent in an oven. You can use a dehydrator. We like this method better, I think, because we can assure that we're not having quite as much sodium and chemicals and whatever gets put into the processed ones. Some are better than others, but yeah, anyway, this is a much healthier option, so glad we were able to share it with you.
The camera crew needs them.
Camera crew's got to get in on it. Go ahead and get a piece.
This is stale. You have to feed your camera crew.
So some of our pieces did end up a little bit smaller and some a little bit larger, and that's just because of how we were cutting it. But as I said before, if you get that cut by the butcher and get that sliced by the butcher, it will turn out more consistent in size. Another thing that's good to do with this kind of beef jerky, and it's not going to last as long, but that is to cut it thin like this and put some barbecue sauce on it and just dry that sauce on the beef. It's not going to keep really super long like store-bought and stuff. Well, our beef jerky's done and it's good, so I think we're going to go ahead and stop the video here.
God bless you and thank you for watching.
We'll see you on the next one.
No cheesies.
You should buy Daddy's coffee. It's the best.
Hi, we'd like to tell you a little bit about our coffee that you can find on our website, 9diamondranch.com. We started selling coffee back in 2018.
And a lot has changed since then, but today we feel like we've got some of the best coffee on the market. All our coffee is organically grown. It's imported from two places, Colombia and also from Sumatra, which is an island in Indonesia.
Our first coffee that we'd like to tell you about is called Rodeo, and it is our Sumatra Dark Roast.
Our second coffee, called Chuck Wagon, is made from medium roasted beans that come from Colombia.
Our next coffee is called Trail Ride. It is a Colombian medium roast.
And that's a decaf, decaffeinated by Swiss water process.
Order your coffee
Today
at 9diamondranch.com. I think we've got the best coffee
in the world.
It's the best.
Well, if you've enjoyed this video, please share it with your friends and hit that like button if you haven't done so already. And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We put out new videos every week, every Friday morning. And if you'd like to receive notifications when we do upload the next video, hit that notification bell. And check out our channel. We have several videos just like this one or very similar. We do various things including hiking, biking, boating, fishing, builds of various kinds, mostly outdoor activities. Some homesteading is thrown in there as well. This channel is for the experience. We do these things for the experience of doing them and to show others how you can do it too. We try to be fun and entertaining while being educational all at the same time. Sometimes these experiences are done for the first time, and other times they're things that we do all the time. Sometimes we do things just for the fun of doing it. Thank you. We'll see you on the next one.